Hey folks, Jonathan here. The day's here. We're going to try to see if it's possible to get this Nash started. And this one's going to be a tough one. But let me get the hood up and braced and I'll show you. Okay. For anyone that has not seen the video on this yet, I did figure out it was not stuck. It's probably, I'm guessing, sitting since at least the mid-70s and maybe before that. The sticker, unfortunately, is not readable on the windshield, so that's usually what we go by here. Didn't see any cracks in the block or anything like that. Looks like someone was possibly going to take the head off. They took the rockers off. They also loosened a lot of these bolts on the exhaust up. So you can see down in the exhaust hole there. And not sure why, but carburetor was undone, the fuel line anyway. So I don't know if this is, yeah, it's stuck. Yeah, it's stuck in the bottom of the carburetor. So we'll probably pull the carburetor off, see if we can get it freed up, and then we'll be able to pour some gas down it. And because I don't think we'll be able to get it running on the carburetor. We can try, but I got a feeling this thing's just been sitting that long. Let me see. Starter is there. I'm not sure that it's going to, be all right. But what we're going to do is we're going to unhook the wiring coming from the battery. We are going to start this on 12 volts. 12 volts will not hurt a 6-volt starter. It may after, I don't know, 150, 200 years, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. We're going to go ahead and pull the plugs out first. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil in the cylinders. And we've got to, I'm going to take these valves. I'm going to actually tap each one of them with a hammer and just see if any of them stay stuck down. The push rods are still in it. I think we'll be all right there. Somebody had said something about not pulling them up because there's a ball on the end of them that could fall off. So I haven't, so I'm not going to, just because I don't know these engines, and I just gotta trust that that's right. And it's been a long time. As you can see, the threads inside these holes, I'm probably going to run a tap through it to get the rocker bolts back on. Points don't look to be in that bad of shape. They're pretty white and corroded, but I think they'll clean up. And we may end up swapping the coil and going from there, but we're gonna give it a try. And but like I said, first things first, we're gonna pull the plugs, look at them, see how bad they look, and then we're gonna tap each one of the valves, and then we'll get the carburetor off of it. Hopefully, like I said, we can at least get it freed up to where the butterfly will work on it. And I don't want to roll it over until we get the rockers on, because I don't want them push rods bouncing. Don't want to do anything that's going to cause any further damage than what's there. And we'll get that done, and I'll show you more as we go. All right, so here goes nothing. That one's good. That one's stuck. So we're going to have to work with that one some. Stuck. That one's bouncing. That's an exhaust. Them two are exhaust valves. Looks like they're sticking so far. Exhaust. Well, that one's just completely stuck. That one's fine. That's intake. Intake, exhaust, exhaust. Looks like every one of the exhaust valves are stuck, so I think what we're going to do, we'll start by spraying some stuff on them. We'll let them sit a little while and see if we can start working with them. May end up going as far as taking the springs off and putting some vice grips on them and trying to work them out. So basically what we got, every intake valve is good, every exhaust valve. That one's starting to come back up. Intake, intake, exhaust. That one is, yeah, that one's going to be an issue right there for sure. Intake, intake, exhaust. Okay, the only one that worries me is the one that is not moving whatsoever. So we'll get some spray on them and then see if we can work them up and down a little bit. We'll get a pry bar, go in under, and just work them up, tap them down, work them up, and try to get them freed up. If we can do that, try to figure that other one out. That's not a good situation though. Like I said, this engine has been sitting for a bunch of years. So I'm guessing, well, somewhere getting close to 50 years. So, all right, we're working with these things. Give me that. Give me that problem. Where's our other problem? All right, tap a couple of these down up here. Them are partially working. Which one you at now? That one? All right. Pulling up hard on it. Ooh, make sure you hit it in the center. Flat and even. All right. It's a rough one now. All right. I guess if it gets too bad, we can give up and pull the head. Go ahead. I'll free up. All right. All right. Come on, man. All right. Okay, I'm going to do something I usually don't do. I think we got carried away a little bit and got one valve, the one that was the hardest, down a little bit too far, and it don't want to come back up, and I don't want to bend it. So what we're going to do is pull this head. I'm going to hope it has a steel or a copper gasket, and we'll clean it off and spray it with copper coat and put it back on like I used to do on farm tractors all the time. If not, we'll just have to order a gasket, and we are going to pull the head off, but don't really want to, but don't see any other choice. And I kind of like the way the motor's made. I want to get it started, so we'll know here shortly what the cylinders look like, and then we'll just pull the valves out, clean them all, and clean it up right. That way we can lap them in and put it back together. And like I said, I usually don't go this far because I like to flip these things quick and not have to put a lot of time into them, because time's money, of course. But we'll see what we can figure out on it. We'll get the head off now. We'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I want to show you what the spark plugs look like in this, if you can see them. They're actually not too bad. So none of them was really rusted on the inside. So I think we'll be able to do something here. We'll have the head off here shortly. Okay, we're just about ready to pull it off. These are exhaust ports. As you can see, they got a bunch of crud in them. And there's the pipe. Rusted up, but that'll be an easy one to make. So we'll make one out of aluminized, and that way we won't have to worry about it rusting again. So that wire, and that should be it. All right, we'll get it off there and show you what it looks like. Okay, we thought we had it ready to pull, but it looks like the side cover actually bolts into the head and goes down and bolts into the block. So we're just going to take it all loose from the head here, and hopefully we can get it out, but we still may end up having to take the whole thing off. Okay, cylinder head's off. As you can see, if them valves hadn't been shut, I am sure that this thing would be shot. But we've got a paper gasket, so we're definitely going to have to order a head gasket for it. So we'll get this head up there and get it cleaned up apart. And go ahead and I can grind the valves. I've got a valve grinder, and we'll get everything taken care of. All the surface is cleaned up. Make a new exhaust pipe for it. And let me see. It's definitely supposed to have a gasket. Clean some of that stuff up for sure, but I'm glad we didn't try to start it because it's got a lot of crap on top of the piston. But the cylinder walls don't look bad at all. actually pretty good shape. So a lot of it fell in this tray too. But this was a gasket. Well, it looks like it was a straight down gasket. I don't know if I can get one back in there without taking it off or not, so we'll probably pull it. But evidently you can get to the lifters from taking that side cover off. We'll see what's available for gaskets. I know I can get a head gasket. If I can't, I'll have one made. I can get Blue Box, Texas, Lubbock Gasket Company, I think's what it is. Something like that. Anyway, I used to have them made. See a little bit of rust over there. Stick your finger in there and rub that number 5, next one, back. Yeah. Rub the side of it right there. I feel some, I see some rust. Make sure there's no crack on the cylinder wall. Which there shouldn't be, because there's no way that cylinder froze. Alright, move your hand a minute. Just some, looks like some rust. Should clean up. Alright, let's get these cylinders cleaned up some and then we can spray them. And we'll go from there. Okay. What we've got here is a bunch of nuts and nutshells. So my conclusion is it's not possible for all that to get in there with the valves closed. So after this thing had sit for quite a while, then somebody had pulled them rockers off. There's no other way that stuff could have got in there. It had to have the valves open at the time. So somebody had I don't know why they would have done it. All the valves were actually closed, so I don't think they would have been, you know, stuck in any way at that time, because all of them wouldn't have been stuck, you know, closed. There would have been at least one of them exhaust valves that would have been open. So I don't know, still a mystery, but we're going to try to clean some of this stuff off and out, and I'm going to have to get a shock back, but we're not close enough to the house to have a cord, so looks like some oil. Yeah, there's a lot of oil in there, like maybe somebody had poured some oil down the cylinder too. So somebody might have been trying to get it unstuck at one time, or maybe it wasn't stuck, or they was just trying to preserve it or something. So, but it does turn over. Just a lot of cleaning to do. That's going to be the biggest issue. And then we'll get the head back together and get a gasket on the way. All right. Okay, there's the last two that we've got to get cleaned off. Rust and nuts. If this thing would have had a nut filter on it, it wouldn't have had that problem. Oh well. Okay, we got it sprayed down good. I'll probably put some oily rags on top of it or something until we can get this head gasket in. I did find one, so we should have one on the way, and we'll get the head ready. And probably be another week before I'm able to do it all, but one way or the other we're going to do it, because it ain't stuck, so it's got to run. All right.